Why is there a war in Syria? The conflict in Syria dates back to 2011. Many people were unhappy about the high levels of unemployment, widespread corruption, and lack of political freedom. Inspired by the Arab Spring uprisings in Tunisia and Egypt, peaceful protests started in March. However, the peaceful demonstrations were met by swift government opposition. When the government used deadly force to crush the dissent, protests erupted nationwide. The violence rapidly escalated, eventually giving way to a brutal war. What is happening in Syria? The Assad regime has fallen in Syria. It's a historic turning point in the 14-year-long civil war. The situation is fast-moving and control is still shifting between different armed groups and opposition forces. Curfews are in place in many areas. The situation is volatile in northeast Syria, where we're working with Bahar organization. There is escalating violence between different armed groups and lots of crime. There is renewed hope for families who have been displaced to return home and reunite with friends and family. But there is also a lot of uncertainty. There are hundreds of thousands of people on the move, but they don't know what they will face or whether their homes are still standing. Millions of people are still entirely reliant on humanitarian aid. And for people left exposed without adequate shelter or the right support, the harsh and unpredictable winter poses a significant risk to life. Who is involved in the Syrian conflict? There are many players in the Syrian conflict. The conflict began as a Syrian uprising against the government of Syria and its then leader, President Bashar al-Assad. Since then, many groups have joined the fighting, with many fighting each other. These groups include the Free Syrian Army, FSA, Kurdish rebel fighters, so-called Islamic State, Jabhat Fath al-Sham, Hezbollah, the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS. International involvement has shaped the course of the conflict, too. Russia and Iran have backed the Syrian government. At the same time, the opposition has been supported by Turkey, several Western powers, and some Gulf Arab states. Ultimately, there is no clear front line in this war. It's a fractured conflict with multiple parties. Civilians are caught in the middle of shifting power dynamics and territories, not knowing where will be safe for them and their families.